really mean?
We're an insurance and financial services company in South Springfield, and 20 years is our anniversary next year. The company has evolved into what it is today, which was a vision of having a one-stop shop.
You hire the best of the best.
Yes, we do. Everybody here to me is family.
Our guiding principles are:
be kind,
speak honestly,
make it simple,
act fairly,
put people over profits. Simple solutions.
Good morning, Rogersville. Welcome back. I hope you all are doing great after your fantastic night out at Rock in Rogersville. I was there. K-ROG was there. We had a big time. Fireworks were spectacular after the show was over. They had a nice little fireworks display. It was super fun.
Awesome.
Food was good. And reserve your calendars. September 24th, 2022 will be the next Rock in Rogersville. It's going to be bigger than better than ever. We got some big plans for tying in with K-ROG and doing some things and making it just bigger and better than ever.
Perfect.
So You've been doing a lot of dirt work, I understand.
Oh, boy. We, gosh, where do I start? We took out some trees. Now we're building berms.
Okay.
I didn't even really know what a berm was till a few years ago.
Is that for your handgun range?
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, no, it's for just plants, trees, rocks. You know, rocks, we should have went into the rock business.
A rock's expensive?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. You can't find them, and when you do, you got to tag them. If you don't tag them, like if you want to go home and talk about it, no, forget it. When you come back, they're gone. So
At the rock store?
Yeah. Yeah, so you got to go to several rock stores. You can't just go to one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like any other type of shopping.
This is a decorative rock.
Yeah, it's a boulder.
It's not like fill rock.
Let's see, they call it a some kind of boulder.
Okay.
It's a rock to me.
Okay.
Right? It's got moss on it and stuff.
Sounds
But
pretty.
anyway, so I got 7 of those bought.
Put those in your yard?
Yeah, so I have a crane and 3 bulldozers and a couple of lift trucks and coming to unload them. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be cool when it's done. You know, the Lord knew what He's doing when He made all this really cool valleys and caves and creeks and all this really neat Ozark scenery.
Yes.
I bet He had to have lots of good equipment to get that done.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yep. But anyway, so when you're trying to emulate that, it's pretty tough to do.
That's the trick right there. That's it. You got it.
So anyway, so it's all been good. Rock in Rogersville was awesome, wasn't it?
Awesome. We're gearing up for Man Camp this weekend, Dollars and Cents,
Yeah.
and the Resource Center, a big sponsor of that, helping us get Jace Robertson here. If you haven't got your tickets, it's not too late.
Yep.
They're only $60 this week. If you show up at the gate, $75. Bring a tent. Bring a sleeping bag. You can camp out under the stars with us. We'll have some Bible preaching. We'll hear Jace speak. We'll have some worship. We'll have some campfires. Hang around, talk to the guys around the campfires. The next day, we've got people demonstrating welding, how to build AR-15 from the parts, auto maintenance, home repair, archery, accounting, personal finance, personal discipleship. We've got Brett Williams, former NFL player, is going to be speaking to us, head coach of the homeschool.
And that's going to be right out here at the farm.
Right out here, Farm Road 205, Rogersville, Missouri, Fellowship Bible Farm.
Yep.
So you can get those tickets at fbclife.org, click events, click Man Camp, click register, and yeah, you can be there. You can join us. It's going to be super fun. We're going to have a big time. We're going to have a big time out there. And then the next weekend here in Rogersville is Farm and Harvest Festival in the park.
Yeah,
and
right after that.
K-ROG is going to be out there. We're going to be partnering with Valley Mountain Quality Meats. So Brother Phil Dowden and I are going to be debuting a new program on K-ROG in partnership with Valley Mountain Meats called The Smoke Show.
Does it require, or it's cooking, right?
It's cooking, yeah. It's the Smoke Show.
And you know a guy that knows how to cook?
I've dabbled. I've dabbled, and Phil's dabbled.
Now, you're getting your master's in cooking right now?
I'm taking Culinary 101.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be making a couple salads tonight. I looked at the syllabus ahead of time, so I'll be making a chicken chutney salad, fruit salad, and a tossed salad. That's the lab assignments for tonight, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then we move on to sandwiches, and then we get into breakfast, and then we get into pork. Now, I'm going to be gone the pork week. I'm going to be out of the country, so I'll miss that one.
You pretty much know how to do pork.
I can handle pork usually. That's going to be a pork chop, not what I usually do. I mean, I can do pork chops, but I'm usually ribs and briskets and loins, and then I'll be back for steak week, which... Maybe
That's always a good week.
And then we do fish, and then I think we're kind of into the final, and I've finished my class, and I have to decide if I'm going to keep going. I'm making an A so far.
So, instead of a legal and a money show, we may have a barbecue and
we are. We're going to
cooking
have
show.
With Mountain Valley or Valley Mountain. I won't say Mountain Valley. Valley Mountain Quality Meats. We're going to be out there. We're going to be cooking some of their quality, locally grown, locally raised hamburger into little slider samples. And so if you come by at Harvest Fest, we'll give you a free sample slider.
And what's their address?
I don't know their address. They're in Rogersville.
They're right down
Yeah,
there.
they're just right down there.
And you got to go by.
They're right down there by the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's great meat. I got a couple ribeyes there, grilled them up yesterday. They were fantastic, super tender. I think, I don't want to overspeak here, but I think that right now they are all prime beef. They don't even sell choice there.
Yeah.
It's just all prime. So, if you're buying meat, prime is usually you have to go to a nice restaurant to be able to get a prime steak. You usually can't just buy it. You can buy it there. Choice is the next grade down. It's good. Choice is good. What you're normally buying, if you're not buying choice, if you're just buying like whatever you normally buy, just like go buy steaks, you're getting select, which is okay. And if you're getting anything less than that, you probably shouldn't be trying to make anything good out of that.
You can tell you're the culinary expert.
Well, thanks for tuning in to
I'm a good eater. So, hey, we want to encourage everybody, send in questions to Dollars and Cents here at K-ROG. We've been getting some questions on different things. I had one this week, came in on email, and it said, hey, give me some tips on saving money. I try to put everything on my credit card every month, and then I just pay it once, and I get points, and I get things like that. And you know what? That's really a good idea to do that if you want to build up some points, because people that are, kind of point gurus, and I have one in the family, he does everything on the credit card, so he gets the points, and he takes trips and he buys stuff, and it's a good idea, but you got to be disciplined.
You got to pay it off.
You have to pay that off.
Yep.
Now, if you want to save yourself some money, it may not help you build your point status, but when you go to a restaurant, if you're going to pay your bill with a credit card and you want to start kind of saving yourself a little bit, don't tip on your credit card.
Okay.
Now, if you think about that, that makes sense. So if you're going to pay the bill, but tip out of your pocket.
Now,
that way you're not charging a credit card. And here's why I kind of make that a rule of thumb for everybody, is because most, and I'm not saying all, most people don't pay their credit cards off at the end of the month.
Right.
And so here's what's happening, that 10 or 15% that you're adding on for a tip, or sometimes 20 or something, you're paying interest on that, plus you have you've charged that. So
so that makes sense. So you're
so
saying,
when you think about it, there are some different ways to try to make sure that if you're using that credit card to build your points, now I guess if you tip on it, you're going to get more points.
Right. And if you're paying it off every month, that's okay.
And that's okay if you're paying it off every month.
Right.
But that 1 month that something pops up and you can't pay that credit card off,
you get hit.
You're paying interest on that 20% tip. You just left that.
I like to use my Apple Card, actually. I got it about a year ago. It gives, depending on how I do the transaction, potentially up to 3% cash back.
Yeah.
It comes in an Apple Cash, and I can turn right around and immediately pay that against the balance, and then I pay it off every month. I actually pay it off 3 or 4 times a month because I cycle enough through it because I'm getting so much cash back on it. But you're right. If you ever get into that cycle where you're not paying it off every month, that's a hard stop. You got to just immediately stop what you're doing, reevaluate, go go into emergency plan, pay that card off.
That's right.
And then maybe get back on track.
Best thing you could do is have a plan. And if you and your wife or your better half, or if you're not discussing finances, right now is not the time to be a passive investor. Look at all the volatility that's going on right now. No one can really explain why the markets are where they're at. There's no foundation for where the markets are right now. And so if you're relying on stuff like that, just make sure you've got a game plan. Now, if you're worried, and want to be cautious, that's fine. Don't tuck tail and run. Look for a conservative investment strategy and things like that. If you're charging on your credit card, just be responsible. And if you want tips on that, send us your questions. We'll be glad to answer them here on the show. But, we're all trying to get through this thing called life together. So reach out for help. If we don't know, we can definitely look up the answer, surely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
When's our next estate planning meeting? We're done for this month?
I think we're done for this month. We did 4 this month.
Yeah, we did. I almost lost my voice.
Will, I've never seen him almost speechless, but he was hoarse.
I was getting close.
We had 3 sold out workshops, and
they're free, so sold out is kind of a...
Yeah, do we call them workshops? Do we call them get-togethers? Do we call them parties?
I like to call it the show, because it's kind of... It's kind of... I think it's fun. It's entertaining. It's interactive. There's some back and forth. People always have a good time, and that's what I really like about it. Is you wouldn't think that talking about estate planning would be fun.
That's right.
But we do make it fun. It is kind of fun.
So we had probably 50, 60 people this month. Something I'm not keeping track of that because we had 4 workshops, but over 90% are coming in for appointments. But the point is, every single person there says, I wish we would have done this years ago, or I wish we would have met you guys a long time ago, because they come out of that workshop or show.
Come out of the show.
They come out of the show. We're like a Branson show.
Kind of.
Yeah. So they come out of the show and they've got smiles. They're interacting with other couples that have been there for the same thing, and everybody's having a good time. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, and I've told you before.
We're trying to educate.
Yeah, and I've told you before. I like the experience of doing this, because we've been doing it for years now, and we've tweaked it along the way. We've added stuff. We haven't taken much out, but we've added stuff. But every time, there's always a couple people in the room that when I start to speak, they've got that skeptical.
Oh, I know.
I'm just not sure about this. And then by the end of it, they're talking, they're laughing, we're interacting. Because, we're not there to put anything over on anybody. We're not there. We're trying to sell you our service, sure, because we've got a great service that we believe in. But the main goal is to make sure people know what they're doing. So many people have been lost in the woods in estate planning. So many people think they've got a plan. Some people maybe have a plan, did some planning, don't know what their plan does. But by the time we're done with them in just an hour and 15 minutes, let's be honest, it's going, and I think it went for an hour and 40 one I did the other day, because we were having such a good time.
Well, and they had questions, and we were able to answer some questions, and we can't get into all the details, but we can make them, feel glad that they came, and hey, let me give you some information. And
they just know that they know that they can get themselves in a situation where everything's fine, everything's taken care of.
Yeah, and I think they know that they don't know what they don't know.
I don't know.
Well, and that's one of the things. So we're trying to educate to where when they walk out of there, they've got a better understanding of the, they have an understanding that it doesn't have to be complicated. You know what the tagline of the Resource Center that we've had for 20 years now, this is our 20-year anniversary.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, pretty much. It's simple solutions in a complex world. Yeah. And, as the world, and I thought of that 20 years ago, and I thought it was complicated then.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
You know, it's funny that we finally were able to team up and do this because we've been on the same parallel trajectories for a long time because the first thing I did when I started in my practice was create a simple way for people to get their traffic tickets taken care of.
That's right.
Take something that had been complicated that most people didn't know how to deal with and make
figure
a
out a
simple
way-
way to do it.
Figure out a way to
And
make it simple.
that's what I've been doing my whole career. That's what you've been doing your whole career. And so it's just really cool that we now get to partner and do this together for folks. And it's a great system, and we love it, and would love to share it with you.
So I encourage you, call the Resource Center. Send us something. Send us a question here at K-ROG. We'll be glad to visit with you on air about that and talk about that. But 882-1800, you can call the office, find out when the next workshop is, and register for that. They do sell out.
Yeah, they do.
So,
They do full up.
Yeah.
You can email us here, info@krogtv.com, and we'll get that question, and we'll be happy to answer it on the air.
Sounds good.
All right.
Hey, see you next week.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.